What's going on, everybody? Today we're going to be talking about how to use your credit to be able to leverage your SMP business. Today we have a couple of special guests. We got Ivan, CEO, Brandol, and my cousin Rick. Um, we've been doing this for a while, and I've been working with Ivan for a while. And today we just want to really talk about how you can really scale, what to do, what not to do, what to look out for, and then from there, that way, you know, you can add this into your business, and so you can avoid all the mistakes. So we got my cousin Rick. He's new to the channel, and we've been working a lot in these past couple years. I actually trained him up, certified him to do SMP as well, and I kind of just want to introduce him to the channel just because we haven't brought him up, and most of my content he hasn't really been on it, but we're gonna be bringing him up a lot more into the videos that I'm doing on Instagram and just on YouTube in general to really help you guys out.
Yo guys, so I'm Rick. I have over 5 years in the barber industry. My cousin Ivan has been cutting since I can remember. He's been cutting my hair since I was in like 6th grade. Now, he always told me to get into it, so that's what I did. I followed his footsteps, and now we're here. He was able to build his business, and I've just been following his footsteps. He's been a great mentor. I'm also SMP certified as well, and I've been in business, I want to say since I was like 16, 17. I also used to flip cars as well, but now I really want to focus on this structure that I have now. So yeah guys, my name is Rick.
So for all the new viewers watching, Ivan and Brandon has already been in my channel. We've already made a couple videos together, collaborations, but if you guys don't know them, I just wanted for them to quickly introduce themselves so you know what they do, what they're about, and you know, pretty much the whole purpose of why they're on here on this video.
What's going on, guys? I'm Ivan, the CEO on YouTube, and a little bit about me is I'm 22 years old. I'm in the trucking industry. I do car rentals, and I run a business and credit service based out of Eagle Pass, but we're nationwide. So when it comes to all of that, it don't matter where you're at. We're gonna get your credit right, and we're gonna get your business funded.
What's going on, guys? My name is Brandol. I'm 23 years old. I've invested into the trucking industry, the car rental industry, and I have a credit repair service.
All right, so we're gonna get right straight to it, and you know, the biggest thing I want to really talk about are the biggest pitfalls when it comes to not having good credit in an SMP business. You know, SMP, for y'all guys that don't know, it's basically a high ticket service. So even though we're making this video for a SMP business, in reality, this really fits for all high ticket services. So one of the biggest things when I first was getting started, it was really hard for me to offer financing for customers, and also to be able to offer, you know, different, not only one type of financing, but have multiple options that have, you know, different barriers to entry for the customer, so they can make it super easy to make a sale. And that alone is already gonna cost you a lot of money if you don't have that. And another thing about it is that whenever you have bad credit and you start making a little bit of money, it's eventually you're gonna get to a point where you can't really do everything yourself. So right now I'm at a point where I have a team that does everything for me. I mean, it's a team of about 7 to 10 people, and if you don't have good credit, then you're not going to be able to get the money to really be able to do that, as well with the marketing and just investing in yourself and education. So those things right there, I feel like if you have bad credit, it's going to be really hard for you to really get started. So that's why, and that's really the main reason why we're making this video, because those things alone are really going to take you from, you know, making $1,000 a month to really scaling up to $20,000-$30,000 a month consistently. When it comes to all that stuff, I'm not really the expert on it. Like I said, I've been working with Ivan. So I mean, why don't you tell them a little bit about like how you can well, I mean, they already know how it affects them, but like how can you kind of help them out in terms of like offering or getting them to the point where they can scale the business or get started, even if they don't have any money, even if they don't have a lot of time building their credit and stuff like that. What can they do to really start?
Start building their credit?
Yeah.
Okay, so overall, when it comes to structuring your credit and just starting out, you're gonna want to have a good mix of revolving credit and installments. Meaning, installments are gonna be loan accounts. You don't necessarily have to go out there and actually apply for loans. There's different companies that you can use to your leverage, so that you can just start having that reporting to your history. So you can go to Credit Strong, Self Credit, and you can also report your rent with rent reporters. So there's different ways you can go about getting some installment history without putting yourself in debt. And as far as revolving credit, the best way for you to start is to start building a relationship with a bank that offers a lot of credit services. Meaning somebody that, like, for instance, Chase has so many funding products, right? So they have personal funding products, they have the Chase Sapphire, they have the Chase, the cashback, and then they still have all the business credit cards. So when it comes to choosing the right bank, it's all gonna start there. So that you can build a good relationship with somebody that's actually gonna be able to benefit you. Unlike IBC, IBC only has a secured credit card and then a cashback credit card. They don't have too many options when it comes to building your credit and just having established accounts. So me, I like to bank with Chase. Bank of America is good if you want to get into auto loans and things like that. They don't have too many funding products either, but Chase is going to be my number one option and recommendation for everybody out there. And credit unions. Credit unions are always going to be better than banks unless it's, Chase. But if you can get into Navy Federal Credit Union, that's going to be your best option because they have the lowest interest rates for credit cards, mortgages, auto loans, and even business credit cards. They're going to give you some of the best rates that nobody can beat. So go to your local credit union and start building a relationship with them so you can start actually getting some of these accounts open. You can start with a simple checkings account and then a secured credit card. Once you get the secured credit card, you can go ahead and start pushing into cards that are on the lower tier, because there's tiers to it, right? There's going to be your cashback accounts, right? Those cashbacks are going to be the easiest form of getting into a credit card accepted, just because it's on the lower tier. But once you start getting into the points type of credit cards, the cards that start rewarding you for dining out so you can use those points to travel, that's where you're going to have to start banking with, well, you don't have to bank with anybody else, but start building relationships with other institutions like American Express. When it comes to American Express, they're a relationship-based bank as well. So a lot of people don't know about this, but you can start establishing a relationship with them by opening a high-yield savings account. And once you open that high-yield savings account, you start building that relationship, you can actually obtain some credit lines, and they're going to be more willing to accept you. And a lot of people sleep on that. I just got an 18-year-old approved for an American Express Gold card. And the way he did it, he started building his credit and a relationship with Chase. He got the secured credit card. He has the check-ins. After 3-4 months, I told him, start building that relationship with American Express. I had told him about it before. He did that way before I told him to start doing it. And I told him, then you're good to go for the American Express. And we applied, we got him approved. So, I mean, it's really as simple as just establishing these relationships and setting yourself up for the long term, right? Because you don't want to just go to any bank and then get a credit card just because you want to start building credit. You want to go ahead and just start building it for the long term, right? For the longevity of it, so that you can start having some good relationships and just set you up for the rest of your life.
Damn, bro, that's a lot of information. So, I mean, sometimes people are gonna hear that and be like, damn, like, what is this guy talking about? All these different things, But I mean, just to pretty much break it down simple, it's all about relationships, what you're saying, right? Like, so like, I guess like a first step would be like opening up a checkings account with like different banks, the ones that you recommended, and then just like running transactions through there, or what kind of like.
Well, you can start getting your paychecks through there. So just enrolling that payroll through that account, so that you can start seeing the direct deposits, right? That's going to be one of the easiest ways. If you're at 1099, start running all of your money through there, and try to pretty much set it up to where you have check stubs, right? So there's a website that I don't have on the top of my head that you can leverage, right? A company where you can make your own check stubs since you're your own boss as a 1099, and you can make your own check stubs and you pay yourself through there. So when you go ahead and try to get finance for like a vehicle, and they're like, "Oh, do you have any like check stubs and stuff like that?" You actually do, and even though you're your own boss and you're 1099, Now you can pull up with your check stubs, and it looks a lot more professional when it comes to getting some funding with any bank.
Yeah, no, and that's perfect, bro. Because I mean, a lot of these people watching for the SMP business, you know, they're typically 1099 unless they work for a company. But I mean, more likely they're running their own business on their own, and they hear that they're like, okay, but how do you establish a business, a relationship, right? But that's perfect. Like, so with the check stubs, that way, whenever you show up to like a dealership or anything, right, they can pretty much see like, oh, this guy technically has like a job, right? So it's
Yeah.
like there's a consistent flow of income, right?
Yeah.
And what if they don't, like, what if they don't do that? Like, is there anything that like, let's just say they don't do the check stubs, like, does that affect them in a bad way, or?
It doesn't. It just makes you seem more professional, right? When you go and apply for certain things, but it's not a necessity. But it's gonna come to a point where you do want to, as a business owner, right? You want to go ahead and start coming a little bit more professional once you start seeing it, right? But that is definitely a different topic for a whole other video. But as far as like the SMP, if you are a client and you don't have any credit, opening any line of credit with a revolving credit card and then getting one of those installments like I mentioned, like Credit Strong, which is just a monthly subscription, can get you in around 3 to 4 months, you'll have a credit score, a decent credit score, so that they can go ahead and get your procedure done, finance, right? And as far as business owners go, if you have no credit, just start building relationships, how I mentioned. You can take it a step further since you are a business owner and do a personal checking and a business checking account. So that's 2 accounts. And once you start doing the savings and you just start adding them, all the accounts, they just start adding up. The relationship is stronger with that bank. And technically that institution is going to give you a lot more funding products with higher limits on pretty much the revolving credit or the installments.
Nice. Yeah. So basically, let's say like in a scenario where somebody, you know, has their own business and everything's running in one account, right?
Yeah.
If they go to the bank, get approved for a house loan, and then they wanna, you know, maybe buy some more materials, stuff like that for the business, like expand the business, will that affect them?
It wouldn't affect you or affect them, right? But it gets to a point where you're not separating yourself and the business, right? So if you have everything running through one account, you don't really know how much you're paying yourself, how much you yourself are wasting on nights out or just your overhead in general, right? Like to keep the lights on, water bill, electricity, all of that. And then you still have your business expenses, right? So even when it comes to taxes, that's the only time that I would say it affects you. Because through the tax side, if everything's going through your checking on the personal, you're gonna get taxed. Like if that's all the money you're making, as opposed to if you have the business set up and you have the business account, then you have an entity, right? An entity where you can start running tax deductions. So that's where it really plays the biggest factor. If it does affect you, it's gonna be on taxes more than anything, but not on the credit side.
Oh, okay. Because I've heard examples where, for example, let's say you get a car loan, personal car loan, you get like a house loan, and then you know, you get like or you want to expand the shop whenever you go to try to get a loan, right, like a business loan. Basically everything's gonna come out. All the personal side is gonna come out on the business side as well. So like, would it limit your amount to be able to get funding versus like if you have them separate? Or
it would because they start seeing that you are in debt X amount, right? So like let's say for Chase, right? You want a business credit card, but you have a brand new mortgage and you just got a credit card, you're gonna most likely get denied because those are fairly new accounts. And even if it's been a while since you have those accounts established, in my personal opinion, it's always better to have it under an entity just in case anything happens, right? Because if anything happens, they don't get to sue you, right? So even if it's at your house or if you have a car that's under your personal name, in my opinion, just so you don't have it under your credit report, because on the business credit side, they're a lot more lenient. So if you go ahead and open that account on your personal, and then you have your business running, your business is making X amount of dollars, it's established correctly, you actually have some business age, you can eventually transfer that auto loan to your business loan. So then, therefore, if anything happens with that car, it falls back on the business and it doesn't ever affect you.
Oh, okay.
So it's more like little layers of protection.
Yeah, just protecting yourself as a business owner.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes things just happen, unfortunate things, and I mean, tattoo artists, just regular tattoo artists, always get sued as well for, like, either the client doesn't listen and something happens, and I mean, there's been a lot of businesses that go out of business just because of stuff like that, you know. So I think that's something that is really helpful long term as well. Not just having like good personal credit, but establishing that structure so that way you have that layer of protection, and was, you know, if anything happens, you're pretty much good. You're good on that side as well. Let's see.
I can go a little bit more into that.
Go for it, bro.
And as far as business owners go as well, one of the biggest things that you can do to obtain more capital, right, for your business, so you can either scale or just start, is leverage your personal credit. If you already have a good credit score, you can go ahead and co-sign for your business to start building business credit. So, like, let's say you have the Chase accounts, you have the checkings, everything's good on the personal, you have a good credit score. You can go ahead and request a credit line on the business side. They will ask you to co-sign for it just because your business doesn't have any credit, right? So it's kind of like if you're co-signing for your kid. So you co-sign for it, and once you co-sign for it once, you don't ever have to do it again. Why? Because you're already going to start establishing a business credit score. So once you do that, I mean, the entryway is there. It's the easiest way to get into it, because if you try to do it based off revenue, you have to make a lot of money to even get $10,000 on a business credit card. So leveraging the personal credit is going to be the easiest way to start getting big amount of capital. You can get anywhere from 25 to 75,000 on one Chase business credit card.
Okay. So then, like, it's one of those things where having bad personal credit will indirectly affect your ability to get business funding, right? So like, it's like they're pretty much tied together, because when you're starting out, you know, that's what's gonna help you establish that business credit, so you could even scale further and stuff like that without having to tie yourself to it.
Yeah, exactly. Right. And that's really where the separation begins, right? Because once you start establishing that business credit, you can start getting auto loans. You can start getting like mortgages, right? Owning property through the business side without having to do anything with your personal credit, meaning you still have that 1-2 auto loan car slot that you can do to get on your personal side, and you can still get a mortgage on your own. So it's a different entity. It all comes back to your social, yes, because it is still under your business. Like, you're still under the business name, but that's where the structure really comes in, because you can do a working company with a holding company, and then you can just follow it all the way back up to a trust. And once it's at a trust, it's not going to come back to you. So that's really where the structure really starts to begin, and it starts separating everything from personal and business finances.
No, that's pretty good, bro. I mean, that's definitely something that I've been learning ever since we started working together, because man, for the past, literally since I've been doing business, I've never had that. So having that, if I would have had that, I know I would have been having the ability to do way more, way faster, you know. So definitely, I feel like that's something that really does hold a lot of people back, because sometimes people, they may have like a really good business in general, but they just need to have more funding, you know, so they can scale that business.
No, yeah.
So I see that a lot, you know, and sometimes unfortunate things happen, and then for whatever reason, the business ends up failing, and it wasn't even because of the business itself. It was more because the lack of knowledge of having good credit. You know, they could have used that good credit for either a tough time and really get through that and keep moving forward, or to either expand or grow faster.
Yeah, exactly, because your business can be thriving really good, right, and making X amount of dollars every month, every week, every year. But it doesn't hurt to know that you have that extra capital in the back pocket, you know? Just so that you can actually leverage that instead of your own money. So that's one of the biggest things that I like to teach, right? Turning credit into businesses, meaning leverage your credit so that you can just have access to the bank's capital instead of your own capital, so that you can just start revenuing a lot more money based off money that you technically didn't even have, all of a number, off a credit score. So it really, if you really start learning the financial leverage point, and that you start opening your mindset to that, it changes the whole game on how you go about starting a business and scaling a business.
Bro, I really feel like that's the way to go about it. And with Brandol, I mean, for you, bro, how's your experience been, like, with with credit and everything like that?
It's been pretty good, man. I've used it multiple times to increase like my growth in my business. So it's helped me a lot. It goes over a lot of people's heads, but it's very beneficial if you do it the right way.
Yeah, and for you, I mean, for the viewers that don't know, tell them a little bit about like how it's helped you in your journey so far with what you got going on.
Right. So I use my credit score to get into the 2 cars that I have in the car rental industry and into the trucking industry. I used my business funding through the business side, the business credit. So the 2 cars, I had that cash flow coming in. I opened up a business bank account and had all that money flowing in, and then I was able to co-sign with my personal credit and business credit into a credit card, and then I use that credit card along with other funds to get into cash 18-wheeler. So it was not only just the credit, right, but structuring the credit correctly and having enough cushion. So yeah, it was everything from personal credit to business credit to having a little bit of capital in the back of my pocket. So I used all of it and just trying my best to utilize all of it to its maximum potential.
Yeah, and that brings me to another point, bro, where like I tell a lot of people all the time when it comes to managing money in general, and I don't know about you guys, but whenever you're like in a scarcity mindset, you start making decisions that like are self-fulfilling. You know what I mean? So like, if you feel like you only have very little money and that's all you got and you gotta bet everything on it. I mean, don't get me wrong, we all have those moments because in business that's how it is. But sometimes, it makes you make irrational decisions. So I feel like that's another aspect to the having good credit, because you're able to really keep your mind focused on the main things. And as long as you're like, okay, pretty logical about it, like, okay, I'm gonna buy this thing and I know it's gonna make me this, I'm gonna do you're putting, it's like you're just kind of playing with the money, and it's a lot more there's a lot less emotion tied to it compared to like if you're just, that's all the cash you have, and if you spend it all, you're done.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's a big one, bro. Like
with family too, bro.
Yeah, with family and everything, bro. Like that's definitely something that's really gonna because as you get older, eventually, like you have 2 kids, 3 kids. Do you have kids or no?
No, I don't.
No. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well, especially with more responsibilities and stuff like that, like that's when it gets even harder, because you're like, and really, bro, a lot of people will make that the excuse itself, and if you talk to a lot of people that have like a certain vision of like their business or their life, but they'll always say like, no, but it's because I have my kids, my family, and I understand that completely, I respect that, but the thing is, at the end of the day, it all comes from the scarcity mindset, and having good credit and being able to establish and being able to establish that is something that is going to give you peace of mind, especially when you're going into a new business, and if you guys have been following our stuff and you follow the game plan that we've already laid down for you in the other video, I'm gonna put a link right here. You're set. You get the business credit, you build on that. The first investment you can make within yourself is investing into any kind of mentorship that is going to get you a certain result in terms of like building the business. And from there, you just really just execute on it, and you're pretty much good to go on all that. So really, that's really what it comes down to. I'm kind of rambling here. Let me see.
Dude, I can give a bad story about my career, like my personal.
Yeah. Okay.
Like what not to do.
That's perfect.
Yeah.
Okay. So. So my cousin Rick, he's had a couple. What we call it? A couple bumps in the road with credit. Me myself as well, but I want Rick to really show his tell his story, so y'all guys know what happens and how what to avoid.
Okay, so what not to do, because I did it. Okay, so when I was 17, 16, I knew the basics of what credit was like. Get your first credit card with Capital One, make your payments to grow your credit, and I ended up growing it to like a 700 plus when I was, I want to say 19. Then from there, I got into flipping cars. I started working in the oil fields, making money, making the paycheck. So I got kind of like tied into the rat race, in other words, like getting the paycheck type. There's nothing wrong with that, but that's the goal, right? But we'll get to that'll be another topic for another time. I'm trying to remember. After that, I had my first kid at 19, and I felt like I had like superpowers when I was super young. I don't know what it is about youth right now. Like, I'm a little bit older now, more seasoned, but when I had like a 700 credit score, my parents didn't even know, like, oh, go get a car, go get yourself, like, go get in debt, like, go get like that shiny, like what's it called, shiny object syndrome.
Yeah.
Like, go get those fancy stuff because you can technically afford it, but you really can't, because you really don't even know how it works. So what I did was I flipped cars, and then I racked up, like, I want to say like almost 26,000, and within a month, and I was kind of like, damn, what's going on, like, now with credit and this and that. But for me, I think it developed something, like, I had free money, but I wasn't responsible with it. Like, I was just giving too much of it. So I was getting approved for credit cards and loans, and what ended up happening, like, just to make it shorter the story, I ended up going to a dealership. I didn't think I was gonna get approved for a truck. Got a brand new truck off the lot. I was like, hell yeah! Like, I feel like that feeling, that adrenaline, that emotion that's in there. Like, oh yeah, like, I'm successful. But then 3 weeks passed, and I'm like, shit. Now I have like 6 years of payments, and interest on top of that. So then that happened, and then I just kind of lost control. I started just taking out credit cards, a lot of them. I started, taking out loans, just like spending more things on, like, things that didn't really bring value or make me money. So I ended up just going the wrong route in credit. Why? Because I didn't know what Ivan and Brandol know now. With having them, I literally just signed up for the credit repair. So I want to give it another shot, because I'm still young. I'm 25. I'm a father of 2, and I really want to get this right. I want to be able to use, like how he says, make money from other people's money, that's how the rich work, and that's the whole goal. Like, because if you really think about it, it's just digital numbers, right? So it's like, how can we make this into this, and then we get to keep both and just scale and not have to deal with, like, putting your own money on the table. So that was my mistake. So don't do that, what I did. So do what these guys are telling you to do. So that was my story.
Yeah, and so like with that story, bro, from what I'm hearing, right, it's basically like, we can have all the information, and you can have all the credit on point, right? And even with all the credit, all the leverage and everything like that, sometimes it's better for you to stay that way. But like, the thing is, the best way is to be able to build that credit, and then use that credit to reinvest it within yourself and your mindset, and really build that solid foundation. So whenever you do get the credit, it doesn't happen like
no, I think
you know what I mean?
Right
So,
on the information,
and I feel like that's a very powerful story, because I feel like a lot of people will be in that, like that, what happened with you, Rick. I think like that, a lot of people, that's literally what will happen to them if they get good credit. So like, sometimes, I mean, you got to do both. You can't just look at it like, okay, good credit, and that's it, boom. If you're really trying to grow as a business owner as well, you have to put in the work. You got to put in the mental work, so you can be able to really capitalize on that good credit and really take you forward. Because it's like how they do those studies on the people who win the lottery. And they do the study where basically somebody wins $1 million, and then they track that person for like 5 years, 6 years, and then they end up being in a worse position than when they won the $1 million, because they just didn't understand the basics of, like, how to manage the money. So when it comes to the credit and stuff like that, we're not just telling you guys, okay, the good credit and that's it. You know, you have to. That's an essential component, but you also have to have the mentality to really be able to put those two together, and then that's where your life is gonna change. That's where all the value is gonna really move you forward and your family and get you to the goal and the vision that you have.
Es como ¿cómo dice? Did Young Dolph say that? You gotta learn how to play with pennies, so you can learn how to play with millions.
Yeah.
Right,
So
like learning how to manage your small income 1st, you know, and then start scaling.
Yeah, the same thing, and you know, like Young Dolph said it, you gotta learn how to play with pennies before you play with millions, and that's really what it is. A lot of people make a mistake of like thinking, oh, I need to make a lot of money first, and then I'll learn how to manage it. But in reality, a lot of times it's all about percentages, and it's all about just building the habit. So you can literally take a dollar, break it up into pennies, and then but manage that. If you don't have a lot of money to manage that while you're building the business credit. So then by the time you get funding and everything like that, now you have both. Boom, you stack them, and then now you can grow the business without having to avoid without having to take those pitfalls, because I've seen it so many times in so many ways and so many business owners, and you know, we're trying to help you so you avoid that and really grow not just the short term but long term. And you know, I think you've talked about this too, Ivan. You know how when you took your credit, and you know how you could have invested it into like designer stuff, right? So,
Oh yeah, and that's actually something I was gonna bring up, was the discipline, right? Because when it comes to the business funding, like, what if I told you that you can go ahead and get access to 50 through 150,000? What are you gonna do with that money? A lot of the people are gonna go get a vacation, go spend it on designer, go put a down payment on a new car, truck, you know? And really, like, by the time you know it, you're gonna feel like I messed up with all of that things, all those things that I just got, and you're in debt, all this money, because all that money you just spent isn't gonna make you anything back. And it's all about leveraging your credit, but also being disciplined enough to actually make the right investments so that you can start getting that cash flow coming in. And once that cash flow comes in, that's when you can go ahead and start doing all those things you want to do, you know, taking Disneyland, taking Bay to Disneyland, things like that, you know. But it's all about just the discipline, right? The execution and having that game plan on what you're gonna do with this money, because you can get access to this money, right?
Yeah.
As long as you have a strong credit profile. But it's what you do afterwards with it. Just how you said about the millionaires, you know, they don't know what they're gonna do with this money. They're just playing for it. Once they get it, they don't know what to do. They're gonna go Vegas, you know, somewhere, blow it all, you know. And so it comes easy, just like how the funding comes easy. Really, like, you don't know what to do with it, you know, because once it's in your hands, like, you can make that disappear quicker than you got it.
Yeah, that's true. And so, like, I mean, we're all pretty young, bro, but you know, I mean, we have kids and stuff like that. Y'all two don't have kids, right? So my question is, like, without the kids and stuff, I remember when I didn't have kids, and it was really hard for me to be disciplined and stuff. Now I feel like I was one of those guys that gave me a purpose.
Yeah.
You know, some people don't need that, like y'all too. So my question is, how did you do that, bro? Like, or did somebody help you, or like kind of keep you accountable, or it was just you, or how?
So nobody really helped me. Nobody really helped me, right, to be accountable and stuff like that. My girlfriend has put me in check in certain areas where I'll spend like ridiculous amounts of money for like clothes and things like that, right? Like on a pair of shorts and other little things like that. But as far as mentality and just sticking to the game plan, it's really just been me, right? And just how you said, like, you guys have a family. I actually kind of do this for my family, even though I don't have one yet. I know that I'm building towards that, and just by the time I do bring kids into this world, right, I want to make sure that I'm good, right, with the amount of money coming in. I don't just want to bring them in and I'm still like struggling or things like that. So I want to make sure that I'm setting up all the foundation, so by the time they're here, it's way more than just the foundation. It's already the house almost finished, and it's just them, the little missing pieces, you know.
Yeah.
So really, like, without having a family, I already think about stuff like that. And at the end of the day, it goes far beyond them. You know, I'm actually trying to set myself up so we're my kids' kids, you know, are good to just keep doing the same thing and passing down the same knowledge and just been able to get out of that situation where I first came from, you know?
Yeah, like breaking the curse, basically.
And that's what I'm working towards. And I feel like Brandon can relate to that as well. I'm not too sure where he's at with it because I know that he doesn't even have a girlfriend, but I know that.
Brandon's just
that's totally
Robert.
cool. I mean, there's nothing wrong with not having a girlfriend, but I mean, the way I do it is I learned to dumb it down, and the way I dumb it down is I would think about my future self, like what would 35-year-old Brandol want 22-year-old Brandol to be doing, or 23 because I'm 23. But what would my future self want me doing in this moment? And I relate it back to when I was in high school. Like if I look back into my high school life, I mean, I was doing stupid, like skipping school or going out partying, drinking, and all this dumb stuff that I was just wasting all my time in. I look back at it and I wish I would have just studied a little harder or invested more time into myself. And so I'm just, since I think about that, now I'm turning it around and thinking about my future. Well, what does 35-year-old me want me to do with my life right now? And so not only does that have a role, but like also future family. Of course, everybody wants a family. I want a family for myself, so that definitely plays a role too. But that's kind of what my mentality is like.
And outside going based outside of family, right? I actually had 3 of my own mentors, right, that gave me a lot of the game, and that they alone, they're really young as well. They're just slightly older than us. They're actually like around 25. 25 is like the oldest mentor I got. Mm-hmm. So really, like if you think about it, like they're all young, you know, and they're at a way higher position just because they were doing this at 18, 19. Mm-hmm. So I felt like I just had to jump on the ball to really just start going, right? And I didn't really have to talk to them about mentality because just talking to them kind of gave me an insight on how they think and how they go about it, you know? So just watching a little bit of their content just made me go, like, kind of just snap, right? Snap that little switch and just go ahead and just adopt that mindset and just go out, execute, and just stay dedicated to that, you know, and determined to build up to a place where they're at.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's definitely really helpful, bro, for like a lot of people getting started, because sometimes they feel like they just don't know where to get that mentality. Maybe they're in a place where there's nobody really around them to be in that mentality, but it's good to see there's people who you know, gone out of the way to really either pay for mentorship or just get close to people like that. So make that step to get close to those people, because like you said, just talking to them, that already is like, you're gonna learn way more just by hanging around them than even just like seeing them on YouTube, you know?
Oh yeah, exactly, bro. And honestly, like for a lot of my time when I first started, you know, with the mentorships, I would honestly just book calls just to talk. Mm-hmm. And they'll be like, anything else you want to go over? And I'd come up with anything, bro, just so I can pick into their brain a little bit more. Just because my friend group at the time, they weren't really doing too much, right? In terms of having that mentality of what I wanted to be around. So I would kind of force my way into being around that type of stuff. And just doing that really is what gave me that insight, right? To just keep doing more, really, and just expanding. Because a lot of the times throughout my entrepreneurial journey, I actually got comfortable. So my biggest waste, of my opinion, was 21 going towards 22, right? So 20 to 21, right? Overall, that was my biggest waste of time, and I wasted a little bit over a year.
Why would you say that you wasted it, bro? What were you doing?
So I was just going to the gym, playing video games, and spending time with my girlfriend. So I wasn't doing anything.
Oh, damn, bro. All day, that's it.
Yeah, no, that's it, bro. Because like I had the truck, right, and I had the cars, bro. So I was like, I mean, I'm cool, you know. I don't. Everything's on autopilot. Sometimes I gotta take some calls, handle this and that, and go out on the road, but that's it, you know. So really, like, I was too comfortable, and I had to get myself out of that zone, really, because it wasn't even my mindset. My mindset knew that I wanted to grow and keep doing more, but I just had to get myself out of that zone and just push myself for more.
Damn, bro, that's crazy. So, yeah, I mean, that's another thing to look out for. So, I mean, just to let you guys know, if by any chance after you watch this video and you become so successful that you get comfortable, you know, come back to the YouTube channel, watch the rest of the videos so you can get motivated again, because that's definitely a problem that happens, you know, and I think it happens to everybody at a different level. Because there's people like that I've seen that they'll get to a certain point. It can be let's say, I don't know, some people 5,000 a month, boom. Some people 20,000 a month, boom. And like, and I don't think there's nothing wrong with it unless you don't see that vision for yourself. Like, if you have a certain vision, you know, I feel like it's good to work to that. Once you get to that, then, you know, it's good, because at the end of the day, it's not all about money. It's all about also being able to use all this stuff to be able to get to your goal. You know, whatever your goal is, that's your goal. And there's some crazy people out here like Elon Musk who literally sleeps in his business and that's it. That's all he does. I mean, that's his vision. That's what it is. You know, everyone has a different vision.
Yeah, realistically though, if I were to be like in Brandon's position, right, where I don't have too much outside of just family, right? Like I don't have a relationship and stuff like that, bro. I would do that all day, just so I can really scale my business to the next level. Which that's something that I've been working with him and just telling him like, hey, you know what, like you don't have to really give too much of your time anywhere else. So really like push it, bro. Push it to the business, because before you know it, you're gonna be able to scale to a point where you're gonna far surpass me, and you're gonna far surpass a lot of people in the same industry, you know, just because you have a lot more time and dedication towards that. And I feel like people like Elon Musk realize that, you know, but the difference is that he has a family and stuff like that. So I don't know what he's doing, but I mean, whatever he's doing is working for him.
Well, that's the same point that I'm trying to kind of like get to. Like, so right now, Brandon, you don't have those things, like, for example, families, you know, like a girlfriend or stuff like that. It's actually like a secret weapon, because everybody else eventually, like for example with me, it's like I have a certain time where I tap out, because not because I want to keep, because I want to always keep working on the business, but the thing is I also don't want to be like Elon Musk. So at that point, it's like the game is just who's willing to sacrifice the most.
Exactly.
You know, like no matter what happens around you, no matter you have, I mean, I think he has like 10 kids or something like that.
Yeah.
But like at that point, you're basically, it's just that it's a game of who can sacrifice the most. Like, you know, fuck everything. I'm just gonna work and that's it. I don't give a fuck about anything else. You know, but I personally don't see that vision for myself. And if you don't see that vision for yourself, you know, right now is the perfect time to be able to capitalize on that. So then when you do have it, then you do want to make sacrifices. You don't have to. You don't have to.
Yeah.
You know, you don't have to.
I'm already established.
You're already established.
Exactly.
So that's why that's the same thing where I was saying that you really do have that, you know, ability to just boom, you know, surpass a lot of people right now. You're in a great position to start, and that's for everybody who's watching this as well. You know, if, sometimes you need a wake up call. You know, this is it right now. You know, Brandon's making it happen. He's a living testimony. He's literally working as well and making it happen on the business side. And eventually, who knows what's gonna happen with Brandon? You know, like
I mean, like how you mentioned, bro, like me not having a relationship and not having too much, like at the moment, it's definitely keeping me pushing, like for the most. Like I want to at least have, like by 2030, I want to have like 5 real estate properties. I want to have like 10 trucks. I want to have a 30-car fleet. Like this is all just me by myself, like separating from everybody and everything else. So by 2030, like that's it. I'm like after that, I'm just gonna focus on what I already have and either keep building or just settle with that, and that's it.
Yeah. So that's why I mean, if I were, you know, to be on the other side of the screen watching this, man, I wish I would have been able to see things like this, you know, because back when I started, when I was like 16, I mean, YouTube was barely getting up there. It was more like cat videos and stuff, you know. But like now, it's like we literally have people who are making it happen, putting it out there like this, 100% for free. So, all right. So there was a lot of information here, you know, from the business, personal, you know, business credit, and how to really get there. Now we do offer certain programs, or what is it, digital products, what you call it? Services that help you do exactly what we're talking about. So I'll let you go ahead and explain what you got going on, bro.
Okay, yeah. So for us, me and Brandol, Valdez Services and LSC Texas Consulting, we actually provide done-for-you services when it comes to credit structure, credit repair, and we also have the business funding. So we can take care of you guys on the back end with everything, A to Z. You just contact us and we're gonna get you right. Now, if you just want something more, or you just want to learn that information on yourself, we are actually launching 3 ebooks. So we have one for how to maximize some funding on the personal side, how to build a strong credit profile, and how to leverage that to start getting cash flowing assets.
Yeah, guys, and don't forget that we are also going to tailor all this information to your certain situation. So from A to Z, you're taken care of completely by me or Ivan. And feel free to hit me up if you feel more comfortable with me, and feel free to hit up Ivan if you feel more comfortable with Ivan. Don't be scared to reach out. We're going to leave our Instagrams in the description below.
If you're really looking to scale your SMP business and you're really trying to elevate your career, or you're just trying to get started, we also have an online course that is 100% free. I recommend you to check that out first. After that, we also have a SMP certification in-person class that we both do. And from here, we're going to be teaching you everything using live models, and also this buddy right here to be able to really show you from A to Z as well on how to really not only get good at what you do, but also grow the business side of it. So that way you're not, having to have trouble and, getting clients, or if you're just not if you're not good with all the tech stuff, I really break it down to the T, so you really understand how to integrate everything into your business. So from the sales to the marketing to the procedures to online content creation, I have it all. So like I said, check out the free course. If you like it and you're interested in actually pursuing more out of your life, we're gonna have the link down below, and you can apply for the certification, or you can just watch all the free content. With that being said, I really appreciate you guys for watching. Comment down below if there's any other business videos when it comes to credit, or when it comes to the SMP business, or really any high ticket business, and we'll make a video on the next one.